Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. As always, if you're new to the channel, what we're doing here, this is a 3D modeling project where we're recreating. I feel like I still didn't say that right. We are recreating the entire land of Hyrule in the art style of the Wind Waker. That is what we're doing, dadgummit. As you know, as always, if you played Wind Waker, you know that the islands of the Great Sea are really the mountaintops of Hyrule. I'm tripping over my words today. But this fan project is just all about connecting those islands, those mountaintops, you know, showing you what the mountains look like, you know, the mountains to those mountaintops. I don't know. I feel like I'm stumbling on my spiel today. But we'll get it back going in a second. I don't know. This video was one of y'all's suggestions. I've gotten a lot of suggestions, and I'm happy to encourage more. You know, keep commenting the ideas that you have, but locations in Hyrule that you want to see realized in the art style of the Wind Waker. And so this video, this is a suggestion that I think I've gotten from a couple of y'all. Y'all have been wanting to see the entrance to the Shadow Temple in the art style of the Wind Waker, and I was really excited about starting to put this together. Because you know we've already done a couple of those spooky locations with the Earth Temple, with the giant Redead, and I was kind of interested to kind of get a feel for going back to Kakariko Village and working a little more on that side of things, right, with the Shadow Temple, because I think that's what's cool about the Shadow Temple, right, in Ocarina of Time, is that it's in the backyard of Kakariko Village, which like is such a how do you put it? There's a duality there, right, to Kakariko, right? How like is seemingly like on the surface it's this kind of cozy, kind of homey little nice town with lovely music. You know, it's just a little nice place you get to cross on your way up to Death Mountain. You know, but really it's not friendly at all, right? You have that graveyard full of monsters deep below the graves. There's the House of the Skulltula. There's the bottom of the well. Don't get me started on that. But Kakariko was like, it's a spooky place. And I think it's interesting just because, like, you know, I feel like especially Kakariko and Ocarina of Time is kind of funny like that, right? It's like one thing on the surface, but another thing underneath. I don't know, I just think that's interesting. And there's always the question, right, about like, is what's on the surface, like, is that is it all a facade, or is it just that there's hidden history? And I think the Shadow Temple is interesting because my understanding is that, like, you know, it's buried away, but it's not like people know it's there. You know, the graveyard, it's you know, you may be ignoring it. The bottom of the well, you may be ignoring things. You know, people in the village are able to, you know, remember whoever it was that had the lens of truth. Comment down below y'all's theories on that, because it seems like the consensus is that when that old man in Kakariko's talking about that whole story about the man who could see the truth, it seems like the theory is that, like, the story is about, you know, some person that eventually became Bongo Bongo, and it seems like there's a connection there, and that Bongo Bongo had the lens of truth, and that is somehow connected to Bongo Bongo's execution. I don't know. That's the theory as I understand it. But I will say I've been really pleased to see that I have been attracting the theory community here. So, you know, feel free to let me know what the consensus is, which is why I'm always very thankful for that, especially when making creative decisions on this project. Because there's definitely things where, you know, I'm a huge Zelda fan. I love the series, and I feel like there's a lot that I know like the back of my hand. But I'm definitely very thankful that I'm not alone in that. And I think there's definitely individual topics that I feel like, you know, I feel like I'm not going to miss anything on. But there's also things where I'm like, you know, when it comes to the whole series, I have blind spots, and so I've been very thankful for y'all commenting and correcting me. And so this is definitely an invitation that if I'm talking about something that, as it pertains to this project, as it pertains to how I'm going to go about something in the world, and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't quite add up with the lore, feel free to comment down below and let me know. Because I definitely make a lot of creative decisions here, and ultimately it is a creative project. But you know, when it comes down to it, you know, I want to do this by the book. I want it to feel like this world that I'm creating fits in with the lore. You know, and a couple people have asked before, and I've answered it in previous videos, but just in case you've missed it, I upload a lot, and I feel like it's easy to miss some of my answers. You know, people have asked about the lore, about the timeline of this world. This is Hyrule in the art style of the Wind Waker, but is this an alternate reality? Is this, you know, is it its own timeline? Where does it exist lore-wise? You know, and my answer is basically it taking place within the prologue of the Wind Waker. This is Hyrule between Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, right before the Great Flood. So that's my decision on the project's timeline there, right? And I've talked about, like, you know, I want to keep Ganon's tower there, which I think was newly built when he rose again within the prologue of the Wind Waker. That's my interpretation. I don't know, it's just a guess. But anyway, I do want to comment about what's happening on screen just a little bit. I'm watching this time lapse with y'all here. And I had imported the Kakariko Village Graveyard from Ocarina of Time 3D. But I made a decision that I was like, you know what? I actually want to recreate the graveyard from scratch. And there's a couple reasons there. Because I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to re-import all the textures from the 3D version just to figure out, like, you know, how things look and where things go, and then just to swap them over with the Wind Waker textures. I just didn't want to waste my time. And it's like, I've realized that there's, like, you know, there are different modeling conventions between Ocarina of Time 3D and Wind Waker, you know? They are in different art styles, and you know, there's some things that doesn't affect, like the general terrain and paths, and, you know, you could swap that out pretty easily. But there is a shape to the hills, and there's a way that Ocarina of Time 3D handles the background that has these, like, trees that disappear into the round hill, and it's you know, it just doesn't quite fit within the style of the Wind Waker. So it's like, yeah, like I could trim things and shave it like I did for Kakariko Village, which is an imported model. But with the graveyard, it just kind of made sense to me that I was like, you know what, I'm going to use the grave that Tot dances around, and that's going to be the basis for all the graves in the graveyard. I have all the assets I need. I think it'll look better and it'll fit in with the world better if I just remake it myself. And I don't always feel that way, because I definitely find the limits of my ability sometimes. And there are some things that I feel like are rough in this project that, you know, just they still need refining. And I'm happy to voice that that if there's something you see in the map that you're like, ooh, that looks unfinished. Well, it is because the project's unfinished. And I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying that there are some things that are rough, but I'm going to come back to them. So that, you know, that's the nature of it. This time lapse is moving pretty fast, and so I apologize. Let me know if it's moving too fast for y'all. I've been playing with different speeds, you know, throughout a couple of different videos, and, you know, because with my first kind of behind the scenes modeling videos, I remember for, like, the Hiteno Village stuff, I was doing, like, videos that it wasn't a time lapse. It was just, like, clips of me modeling, and just, like, you know, a video of that happening, you know, live, quote unquote. And it just felt like, you know, 10 minutes would go by and it's like, oh, I've modeled one house, you know, it just not much was happening. So it kind of seems to me that time lapses where I can get more done on a location is more interesting, and it allows the video to cover more ground. And, you know, I don't have to do, like, here's 5 parts of, like, you know, an hour's worth of content of doing not very much at all. You know, I'd rather, you know, make it seem worth it to y'all, and y'all be able to have, like, a before and after at the end of the video where the difference is fairly substantial. You know, it depends on what I'm modeling, because there are some things that this project is definitely, like, kind of it's a project where I whittle away at things, and that can take a while. And so I definitely, like, you know, I feel like there's definitely a place for saying, like, all right, I don't have to, like, speed up the time lapse. Let's just take a second and you can be with me as I model. And I want to do more videos like that, but it's just, I also want to have that, like I said, like I want y'all to feel like things are getting done in each video so that you watch, that I don't want you to feel like you're wasting your time. because I value y'all's time. I'm trying to make good content. You know, say what you want. I'm doing my best over here, but so we're making some decisions here, as you can see on screen, about the entrance to the Shadow Temple. And let me know what y'all think about this. It's just like, I wanted to kind of keep things open air. And like, I know in the original game, it's like you enter a cave, and I kind of keep the sky visible throughout. So let me know as you're watching if you're like, all right, this isn't spooky enough. It needs to be darker. It needs to actually be like a covered cave. Let me know if you feel that way. I just had like the sky peeking through because I thought that might be, or not, like I wanted to be able to see the entrance of the Shadow Temple from above. And I wanted to be able to like look in and have light pour in, and so you can just kind of see that like I'm modeling with that, like, you know, like there is it is like kind of tucked away in the mountainside, but it's not really in a cave. It's just like there are some overhanging rocks, but it's not super buried in. So yeah, I mean, just let me know what you think about that, and you know, like I feel like, you know, y'all have wanted the entrance to the Shadow Temple because it's a spooky location. So if it's not spooky enough, let me know. But anyway, you know, just let me know what y'all think. Also, let me know what y'all think about, like, so stuff like the Earth Temple, right? You know, we have the entrance on the top of the mountain, as you saw in the original Wind Waker game that was in the cave. But then I've added, like, you know, a kind of facade lower on the mountain. So let me know what y'all think about the Shadow Temple, because it seems to me that, you know, there is some intentionality of hiding away the Shadow Temple. But also, you know, let me know what you think, if it'd be worthwhile, like, lower on the Kakariko mountainside, having another entrance to the Shadow Temple that's like, you know, lower, and having like another set of columns like protruding from the mountain. You know, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about that. If that would make sense to y'all. All this to say, I value your feedback, and when in doubt, I ask y'all questions, and I'm not afraid to. That is simply, you know, I don't know. I've felt very thankful that y'all have had ideas, and that y'all, I don't know, I feel like y'all feel, you know, as passionately about the projects as I do, and that's been really rewarding to see just how interested y'all are. You know, I don't know. I feel like this has been a lower energy video, but like I want y'all to know that like I've been so thankful to see so many new faces on the channel, and it seems like, you know, YouTube has really been recommending these videos recently, and it's been awesome just to see all, yeah, like I said, all these new faces and all of y'all's new ideas that y'all have. And that's awesome. You know, I've said it before, but I really want this to feel like a community driven project where we can share ideas and talk about things together. But anyway, I think we're about to wrap up the video. So let me give y'all the ending spiel as we look at the before and after. And here's a new thing I'm trying, rendering out a basically fly through of the new part of the model. I feel like it's a more elegant way to end it rather than just kind of scrubbing through in Blender. It's a nice render. But anyway, if y'all want to support me, I just launched my Patreon. It's like 2 weeks old, give or take. Maybe it's older than that now. I don't know. I lose track of time. But yeah, if y'all want to support me, I'd love to see y'all there. You get all kinds of behind the scenes access and bonus features with all my filmmaking stuff on my main channel as well. You can subscribe there if you want to see more of that. But yeah, being a Patreon member gives you bonus early access to in-progress scripts, to music that I'm working on, all kinds of stuff. If you've heard music in the background of this video, that was my music. And so you can also support me by listening to my music on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. Look up Joe Kendrick on Spotify. That's JoeKendrick. You know, I would love to get y'all on board with all that stuff. You know, I don't know. I feel like if y'all like the music of The Legend of Zelda, you would like the kind of soundtrack stuff that I do. So anyway, those are all my spiels. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'm going to wrap it up. I've said everything I got to say, right? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Comment down below any ideas that you have. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, I'll let y'all go.